Hello, welcome to the Q&A time. So the questions of today are posted by Constance Kan, one of Vitruvian Health's trainers who wants to specialize in the niche of comp prep coaching, which is quite exciting. So interesting to go into these questions. Number one was, what are your views on mind-muscle connection versus you don't have to actually feel the muscles working while training? Yes. I love it. I think it's a great thing, a great question, because mind muscle connection versus, well, let's break that down. Number one, you actually cannot feel a muscle working. You can't. You can't specifically go in and tell me which bicep you're actually working, which tricep, when you're contracting your quads, which one is it? And some people are like, you actually physically can. Okay, well, when the muscle spasms, you go, my calf, or my quad, it's cramping, or my foot's cramping. You don't go, my rectus femoris, the deep portion of the knee attachment, is actually going to spasm because of this, this, and this. It's not a thing. We just go, holy crap, it's spasming. So it's pretty funny to watch. Now, in my opinion, I believe that mind-muscle connection is building awareness of that area for that person. So most people they don't engage their glutes, so the glutes don't fire, so there's a misfiring pattern. So what will happen is they'll use their lower back and their hamstrings to stabilize in hip extension, and then they overwork the wrong muscle. But if you engage the glutes and you get the right muscle working, there's an improved stability of the pelvis, so then everything works synergistically. Second to that is, if you teach someone mind-muscle connection to be aware of the muscles that are working, what actually happens is they slow the movement down. So they become more conscious of the eccentric and the concentric movement. So they now have greater control of the movement. So now they're actually in a safer space. Two, they have more control of the tempo. And three, it adheres to full range of movement. So this is actually one of the reasons why a lot of people see progress when they start to create more awareness of how they train compared to throwing the weight around like an idiot. So mind-muscle connection is the ability to create awareness of the fundamentals for results, which is progressive load over time, time under tension, full range of movement, and no pain. If you control the range of movement to the point that you can pause at any point in time, you really do eliminate a large portion of injuries. If you teach them how to move that load through control, it can be explosive up, but they're in control of that explosive contraction, then the progressive load over time will be steady and progressive without putting them in harm's way. So that is my view on mind-muscle connection with some polywaffle. Two, I'm aware that certain carbs make some athletes bloat within hours having them, so they try to avoid those carbs while on prep. So why do some carbs make some people bloat? Is it smth to do with mind dysfunctional gut? Is it in correlation with one's digestive enzymes in the stomach? Great question. Ooh, these are some doozies. So yes, what could it be? Some people might not have produced the enzymes to handle resistant starches. It's like cake, can't eat pumpkin. It's very heavy in resistant starch, so that's a no-go. Two, there could be gut dysfunctional issues there, but fundamentally, I think a big one is that the body's evolving every day. We're creating new cells. So over time, the body just changes. But I think what can happen is not everyone, talking about mind-muscle connection, is aware of their body and what it's doing. So some people will just inhale their food, so they then don't break it down, just to tighten the digestive tract to break down that food. So it has a harder time. So the body gets bloated and then it settles. So people need to chew their food more. Three is because they're not aware of what's going on in themselves, they're super stressed. So they create a stress response and they eat that food. I haven't seen anything about it, but I feel like I've seen enough clients with this to feel that it's actually a thing where people are in a really stressed out phase of their life or in situation in the day, and they eat that food when they're in a stress response, and it just causes irritation, and they no longer can have that for a period of time. So they need to do a gut healing protocol for at least 3 months, and then they can slowly introduce it. So yeah, one could be it's just resistant starches. Some people just don't handle it at certain times. Two, the body's under a lot of stress, and eating that certain food just triggers it. And 3, the body just can't handle that food at that point in time, so you take it out for a period of time and then just reintroduce it in 3 to 6 months. Or it could be that like there's a thing called FODMAPs. Number 4 is FODMAPs. So it could be that they have an irritation to high FODMAP based foods. So you can check that out. Number 3, why having too much fiber will cause stabbing pain in the stomach and taking digestive enzymes don't solve it. Okay. Why having too much fiber will cause stabbing pains? I'm not 100% sure about that one. I feel like it needs a little more context, but to answer it, and what I'm thinking about is if you have 25 grams of fiber per day and you double it without, like your body, the body likes homeostasis. Like if this is how much water I drink per day, my body will get used to that. It'll adapt, and the body's extremely adaptive. Now, if I down 10 liters of water, like I've been doing this much water for like months, my body will adapt, and then I down 10 liters of water, I will struggle. I just feel like I'm choking. So the body has a threshold, like it can tolerate bits and pieces of it. This is why, like, when we give people plans, we don't, like, we give them everything, but then they find it really hard. This is why we do build their habits. So you could find that because you're eating a certain amount of fiber, like 25 grams, and then you go to 40, because, you know, if I have more resistance, more fiber and soluble fiber, I'm going to be able to poo more, therefore that will increase my detoxification pathways, and I'll actually shit more, and I'll be able to detoxify better, and I'll get leaner quicker, and I won't retain water fluid. Kinda. Because the thing is, if you just ramp it up, the body doesn't actually produce those enzymes to help the body handle that load. So you want to gradually build them up. A lot of people that when they start eating more fiber, they actually don't produce a thing called cellulose. That's the enzyme that helps to break down vegetable matter. So digestive enzymes do have it in it. So just taking them in one go is not going to help. So you could be taking them, titrate them through each meal, and that can aid in it. But really it's a process. So you need to gradually bring your fiber up. This is why gradually increasing food intake or decreasing it is good. This is why people find carb refeeds can be challenging, or it's known as a 10,000 calorie a day challenge. It's where you go from about 3,000 calories a day and then they get 10,000. They struggle. So one of the things they do is they get like high dense fat sugary foods like Krispy Kreme donuts. They just down a whole box because it takes time for the receptors in the digestive tract to tell the brain that it's full. So by the time you've wolfed down 24 donuts, you're like, oh man, I'm stuffed. You get 10,000 calories. So yeah, with that one, probably just jacked up your fiber too quickly. That's causing you irritation. The stabbing pains could be like your body's just like the fiber's, and you just don't have enough fluid, especially to get through your body. So yeah, don't make drastic changes quickly because the body doesn't know, doesn't have the enzymes to handle that. So yeah, some good questions, great stuff. Till next time, till the next Q&A, have a great day.